I'm Caleb Kidd Coy, Epic Legacy Hero Builder, and I'd like to welcome you to Living Like a Bank. Along with myself, you'll hear from other successful experts and people who are busy serving and empowering many lives. You'll see how we're showing others to become debt-free in record time as they build economic discipline while generating a bulletproof family legacy revenue stream together. We'll learn how to live and operate just like the banks do. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the all-new Living Like a Bank podcast. It's been an exciting first few episodes, some great interviews with folks that are sharing their expertise and experience with us about living like a bank, banking like a bank, and ultimately building a powerful family legacy. So today I am joined by the lovely Aline Clarke. Aline, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks, Caleb. How are you?
Doing very well. So happy to have you with us today, have this conversation, which feels like it's just going to be an extension of our continued conversations. And I'm just reminded in these times that we're living in of a Napoleon Hill quote, who often talked about for every adversity, there is an equal opportunity to be found. So yes, no doubt we're living in challenging times, but for those of us who are willing to take the bull by the horns, if you will, and rise up above the fear, above the challenges, there is opportunity alive there. And Aline, you are a perfect example of taking hold of the opportunity that was presented to you and running with it. And number one, I'm just so proud of you for that. And number two, I'd definitely like to talk to you about that. So you originally found a Facebook lead. Tell us about that.
Yes, absolutely. Like most people, I had just bought my house, and I think it was a year or 2 years into it, and I knew one thing that I didn't want to spend 30 years paying it. I didn't have the excess money to be able to pay it off before 30 years. So I was looking for ways to get out of that 30 years before. And so I went online, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And I landed on this Facebook ad that say, pay your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. I was intrigued. 5 to 7 years. The bank just gave me 30 years. Let me go find out what is that about. So I put in my information, went find it. It just hit me when it was presented to me, when the information was presented to me. I just knew that this is what I was looking for. I just knew it. And it didn't take me too long to jump on it and say, let's do it. And not only did I say, let's do it, now I was like, I got to present it to the people that I know. I can't just keep this for me. So I was like, okay, let me work with you. And I became an advocate for that too. And that's how I started working for doing the same thing that I was already using.
Wow. Customer becomes an agent, an advocate, a rep. This is a real life story, and it gets us so excited, right? Because you came in through the same person I did, Chris, but it was through one of these ads. And so obviously, Aileen, there had to be some form of skepticism, a little bit. So when you came in and that presentation was done for you, what was the phrase or the line or the wording that really hit you between the eyes where you went, okay, this is legit, this is real, I want to move down this path?
I don't know about a specific phrase or line or group of words. I just remember, yes, I was skeptical at first because you sign this mortgages, and they tell you it's going to take you 30 years. That's all we know. That's actually, that 30 years was always a fear for me over that whole held me back from buying a house
Hmm.
from the beginning. I never wanted to own a home because I was like, I'm not going to buy something that is going to take me 30 years to pay. No, I'm not. I do not like being in debt. But after having the kids, family, and all that stuff, I had to live in a place, and I figured, oh well, I'm going to buy the home, and I'm going to find a way to get out of it. So yes, when they said 5 to 7 years, I went in, was intrigued. I was like, well, it sounded too good to be true. How are we going to go from 30 years to 5 years? But then my mind switched after like maybe a couple of conversations with Chris. My mind shifted because I was like, well, which sounds better, 30 years or 7 years?
Hmm.
Which one is too good to be true? 30 years or 7 years. So I figured the bank, they had to be doing something that was not, that was completely different than what they're doing. And I really wanted to discover what Chris had to offer to me. And that's when my mind changed. And then I fell in love with it because I was ready. And then I had to convince my husband
Hmm.
because that was another person who was also very skeptical, couldn't
Yep.
believe we're going to go from 30 years to 7 years. So it needed several conversations with him and Chris talking back and forth for him to be like, okay, let's go ahead, let's do it.
I love that, Aileen, and not typical or not uncommon, I should say, right? For
Right.
spouses to share different approaches or different perspectives. A lot of times, couples, one is sold to from an emotional standpoint, and another one is sold to from a logical standpoint and
Yeah.
point of view. And you've got to have all these sides. How did it make you feel when your husband got a hold of it? Okay, it clicked for you obviously before him, but how did it make you feel inside when he was able to see and know this is legit? Oh my gosh, our lives and our family legacy is going to change because you got little ones like we do. And
Yeah.
obviously, we so much of what we do is to provide a better future for them. But how did that make you feel when he got it?
Oh man, Chris, I was ecstatic. I remember sitting, and he was sitting next to me. And once he did it, I went like this, yes, because all of a sudden I realized my kids. I didn't have a way for my kids to leave them a legacy,
Mm,
and I just saw our life with the money that we were making that it was going to take us forever. Like, well, I don't want to say forever, but a long time for us to get to a point where we were comfortable to be able to pay our bills, figure something out so we can leave a legacy for our kids. So when he was on board, I already saw that. But when he came on board, I was like, yes, now we could build something for the family. And then it wasn't just for my kids that I saw, all of a sudden, I saw their future being brighter than it was,
mm,
but for the rest of my extended family, my sisters, my brothers. And I was like, if as a family we can all do this thing, could you imagine how we're going to go from a generation who didn't know anything about money to all of a sudden a generation who's teaching the next generation about money? Because whether we like it or not, even the great Solomon in the Bible said money has its place.
mhm,
You can't just dismiss money, but
mhm.
we're not going to do everything about money. And it just made me very, very happy. And ever since we've been using this thing, there's not one moment that I've regretted jumping on board and doing this
Wow.
and exposing other people into doing this too.
What a testimonial, Aileen.
Yes.
And I love this faith-based perspective that you brought. We talk about Solomon and the wealth that he'd accumulated during, his time, many, many, many hundreds and hundreds of years ago was just extraordinary amount if you compared it to today's monetary system. And a lot of that was in gold and silver and precious metals and things like that. And
Right.
so I know personally growing up in the church and around faith-based organizations, there was a lot of negative mindset toward money and wealth. Oh, it's evil. Money is wicked. The love of money is a root of all evil. Yes, nobody can disagree that money has the power to destroy and control a person, but at the end of the day, it's just a tool. And I believe it ends with the heart of the individual, right? Are we going to be a good and faithful steward? Can we essentially be entrusted with more wealth, and what's the condition of our heart so that we can do more with it? Because I think that ultimately it only brings out what's already inside a person, right? Just
Exactly.
like pressure, who you really are, when you
Under
put pressure on a person, that's going to come out. And if they've got good nature, if they're giving, if they're philanthropic, that's going to come out as well. So obviously, I don't know you that well, but I know you well enough to know that you and your husband share that kind of heart. You not only do you want to take care of your family, immediate and extended, but you want to reach out and touch the world. And there's just limitations from doing that, as much faith as we can have if we don't have the resources to do
I,
that. So just talk to us a little bit about what you're excited about in the future vision of how you can impact the world as your legacy and wealth grows.
Absolutely, Caleb. This technology that we use, because we're in the We live in a time where technology plays 100% of everything we do. This technology we use it does wonders. I met a guy yesterday, and he will be classified at what is called the wealthy. But he's done everything in his power that he was explaining to me how he was doing certain stuff so that he could get out of his mortgage. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't working for him. He making extra payment, he was doing this, and he had all this stuff that was going on that he was doing, still couldn't get out of it. When I sat down with him and we had the conversation, and he was like, and I presented the technology for him, his mind is like, how?
Hmm.
And I told him, it's just math. There's no magical, fancy, whatever you want to call it behind it. It's just mathematics that a lot of us don't know how to do. A
Mhm.
lot of us don't know computer codes. I mean, you could count by the fingers of our hands how many people will actually know how to write a computer code. And he was on board, and he became a family member, a client, because it made sense to him that we shouldn't have to be on this mortgage for that long. And for this guy, he only had a mortgage because he was able to pay off everything. All
Hmm.
he had left was the mortgage, who was giving him a headache.
Wow.
So this technology is not just for, it's for everybody. You're rich, you're not rich, you're poor, you're not poor. This can be helpful to you. And like Chris mentioned last time when you had him, all you gotta do is have a little bit of cash flow left, a positive cash flow at the end. The technology is gonna work for you. I mean, most people will have $1, $2 left at the end of the month. I've
Hmm.
seen it work with $1 left, and I cannot believe it works with $1 left.
Wow.
This is how bad we want people to get out of debt.
Hmm.
Whether we like it or not, those monthly payments that we have that are holding us back, it's holding us back, whether you like it or not. It's stopping America from dreaming.
Yeah.
You talk about our parents when they were younger, when they were thinking about the future, all they knew is that I gotta be one day be older, and then I'm gonna leave my house to my children. They never thought about I'm gonna be done paying the house. I mean, everybody could tell I'm not originally from here. And when you come over here, that's what everybody tells you. You don't pay off your house in America. If you have a
Mm.
land, you don't pay off the land. Who said?
Mm.
Right? So I was very, very, very excited at realizing that this product that I'm part of, that I'm creating legacy for all kinds of people, all
Mm.
kinds of people. It wasn't just, I mean, you, like I said, this guy that I met yesterday, my mind was baffled that I was able to help him out. But not baffled in a negative way, but baffled at how amazing this technology was for that guy and what it's going to do for his family.
I love that, Aileen. Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this big, fat, mean, nasty elephant in the room of debt. Now, would you agree, Aileen, that most people have a concept of a 30-year fixed mortgage, right? They understand what it means to pay, spend 30 years paying off a home. But the reality is, in the traditional way that that's done with a traditional bank, that 30 years that it takes them, they're going to end up paying twice as much or sometimes more.
Right.
That is a huge thing. And amortization, I think, in a lot of ways, is maybe the element that a lot of people don't wrap their brain around. And this is the way that banks can legally essentially get you to pay over and over again and put it back in their coffers. And so we're talking about technology that allows the client, the consumer, the mortgage holder to reverse their profitability. So not only are we talking about paying off your mortgage in a fraction of the time, 5 to 7 years versus 30, that's a no-brainer. But then utilizing and leveraging that same debt to grow a healthy retirement stream and build a legacy. How does that feel to you and your clients? How does the concept of living debt free make you feel and the people that you're talking to about this?
Oh man, I know for me, Caleb, the idea that I could be debt free. You have no idea. When you have debts, when you owe somebody's money, you become a slave of that person, whether you like it or not. Because every moment, every penny that you have is working towards giving it to that person. What about you? Unfortunately for us, it's this is the system in which we live in. You gotta be in debt. It's okay. Actually, debt could actually be a good thing if you know how to manage it, if you know what to do with it. There's what's called good debt and bad debt. A good debt, your mortgage is a good debt. Your credit cards, your car loan, those are good debt. What you want is what you do with it that could
Mm.
turn those debt into bad debt.
Yeah.
If you sit on your 30 years fixed mortgage, your mortgage for 30 years, it becomes a bad debt because it took all your money your entire life.
Hmm.
You got to get out of it ASAP because now you could take it, like you mentioned, leverage those monthly payments, leverage those debt payments to build your future. A lot of people, by the time they're done paying their expenses and everything that they do, there's no money left at the end of the month. That is like almost 80% of the population that has almost nothing left at the end of the month.
Mm.
Now, don't quote me on that 80%. I came up with that on my own. But majority,
Yeah.
right, has no money left.
Yep.
So what's going to happen because you don't have any money left? A lot of people just forget it. I had somebody that told me one time, if I die, well, I'm dead. I don't have to care about what they do to my body. Really?
Mm.
And not because they really didn't care. It's just because there was nothing to dream
Mm.
there. There was no future to look forward to where you could look for yourself and then turn around and look for your kids and be like, this is what I want from them because there was no money left.
Mm.
So by using this technology and by believing that 30 years of your life is not meant to be giving away to the bank, it is meant for you to have a home and to have a legacy to leave for your children. And this technology can allow people to do it. And it's just pretty simple. Most people do use it every day, anyways, without even realizing that they're doing it.
Hmm.
You just need discipline to be able to follow the instruction. And this is another thing that I love about this because when we meet with a client and we become family, we don't just drop you and be like, okay, see you in 10 years. No, literally, it becomes a family because we're constantly with this person, working with them, helping them, and making sure that they're doing it right,
Yeah.
checking on them every so often, maybe once a month, maybe once a week, checking and making sure that they're doing it right because we want everybody to be successful.
You mean walking the legacy journey with people?
Yes,
Isn't that
absolutely.
what's so cool? We're not just walking it out ourselves, but we're walking it out with our clients.
Yes.
And you mentioned this earlier, Aileen. A lot of Americans live in hand to mouth, right? Live in month to month. And we see this. There's this element that immediately people panic when they feel like they're going to have to stop living how they normally live. They're going to have to change their lifestyle. Oh no, I won't be able to get my daily Starbucks fix. But that's actually not the way it works using these steps in this program, is it, Aileen? Isn't that so cool? Expound on that a little bit for us, that people don't have to change their current lifestyle or spending habits.
Going back to when I fell in love with this program was exactly that made me
Mm.
that made me feel like yes, this got to be the real deal. Where can you find something that is going to be helping you to get out? And we don't just tackle one debt, we tackle all your debts. You talk about your mortgage, your car loan, your student loans, your credit card, your personal, you name it, whatever debt you have, we tackle them at the same time. And yet we do not change your life
Mm.
because we stay within your budget. We're not we don't want you to destroy something that you people are in a habit of spending. You take that away from somebody, now you're making them do something that is out of character. No. Do you want to spend? Let's spend it the right way.
Mm.
And this is what we do. And that's what when because I love coffee. If you meet, I love coffee. I want to have my coffee every morning, and I don't need much. I don't need much. I just need one cup a day, and
Yep.
I'm fixed for the day. But I need my one cup. So some days I have time to do it at home. Sometimes I don't. I gotta run to the store, the little coffee shop down the street. I don't want anybody taking that away from me because you don't want to meet me without coffee, right?
I
You
can
know,
relate, Aileen.
exactly. So they weren't going to take that away from me. I was still going to have my coffee every day, and I was still going to be able to get out of bed. And I was going to build a legacy for my children and for myself and for my family and for my mom and for my dad. I thought that was the real deal. That's what made me fall in love. And that's what I love this product. We do that for people. We do not change. It's one of the first thing we tell our client. We're gonna do all of this without changing your lifestyle.
Yep. Powerful, Aileen.
Yes.
Following simple instructions really is the key right there, but no changes to lifestyle. Following instructions and just being able to do essentially what the software tells you to do. I wanted to bring up something with you, Aileen, that we talked about briefly. A lot of people don't realize not only are you utilizing a liquid life insurance savings account with no surrender charge, but contained within that very unique account are these living benefits that a lot of people don't realize are there. Can you talk to us a bit about those living benefits and why it's really such an extraordinary bonus in addition to the wealth that we're building inside that contract?
Yeah, absolutely, Caleb. The living benefit, it is actually what sold me. I've always believed in life insurance, but as much as I believed in it, it was a product that bothered me for several years because why would I pay for something 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years so that they can use it? What about me?
Hmm.
I've always asked that question. And I had several agents before I became one that I was asking the question, what about me? And when I saw those living benefits for the first time, I was like, I cannot believe this product existed for that long.
Hmm.
And I already had my life insurance for like almost 15, 20 years, and I never knew about living benefits. So when I saw it, and then I was very happy, and it didn't take me long to actually do use it or switch over to get a life insurance that was going to give me a living benefit. Because you think about it, every morning we get up, we got to drive to work, we got to go to work, and you have people that are roofers. You know, they got to be on top of the roof, and they're the sole money maker in the family. What happened to him if he fall down the roof? Well, I used to sell that product where there was no living benefit. And I've always asked myself, and the reason why I think about the roof is because I can think of a client that I had back in the days who that happened to. He had life insurance, but he didn't have living benefit. And he was a
Mm.
client of mine. He fell off the roof working. And he was off work for 6 months.
Mm.
Nothing happened for him.
And
And,
no
and
income, right? For six
and no
months.
income because he was the only one who could work. The wife
Yep.
was on disability, so
Mm.
I mean, how much money is disability income? And they had no income for 6 months, and I felt terrible, and I was like, I can't continue doing this. It just didn't sit well with me. So the living benefits would have taken care of him. He would have had a lump sum of money sent to him to take care of his family for 6 months, and then once he's healed and it's better, he could go back to work and continue providing. Like there was not going to be a stoppage of provision for the family. That's what that living benefit does for families. What if you're in a car accident? Because people always think about life insurance as I'm dead, but you don't have to die
Right.
because most people survive cancer. Most people survive heart attacks. Most people survive accident. What if you survive all of this, but yeah, you can't get up the next day and go to work? Then what
Mm.
happened to your family?
Mm.
And you don't have to pay extra for those living
Right.
benefits. It's already a rider that is added to your insurance. It's like the what do you call that, the two four, the knife with two four, those two sides. What
Oh,
do you
yeah.
call that? Yeah, to this side you could cut with this side, you could cut with this side.
Yep.
So could you imagine how they're swinging this? That's exactly what those living benefit do. And I think it's very important for family to understand that old mentality where you just had death benefit, that's how
Mhm.
I call it, that is not acceptable. We live in a day and age where things happen, even mental. It doesn't
Oh,
even have
yeah.
to be a physical thing. A mental thing can take you out of work for 6 months. Then what?
Then what? A perfect example, right? We're talking about things like a critical illness,
Right.
work-related injury. I mean, they even got a new one which covers Alzheimer's. You
Alzheimer's.
mentioned the mental side. I mean, things that we just don't think about, things that could cause us to be rendered legally incapacitated are gonna be covered. So the peace of mind, Aileen, right, that it
Peace of
brings to
mind.
us should just take us to the next level.
The peace of mind is it goes hand in hand with getting out of debt. The kind of peace of mind that you get for going to bed knowing that you do not owe anybody anything.
Mhm.
To have that same kind of peace of mind going to bed knowing that if I do get any kind of a critical illness, critical injury, Alzheimer, things like that, that my family is still going to be taken care of while I recover. That peace of mind is everything for us. It's
Yes.
our mental state. We'd have to protect that. And it doesn't take much to protect the peace of mind, especially when it comes to a product like this that we're using.
100%. I love
Mhm.
that, Aline. Well, guys, we're just so excited that you took the time to listen to this extraordinary information. As always, Aileen, it's too short. I just feel like you and I could go on for hours and hours at a time. But what a benefit for people to understand living benefits on top of getting completely debt free, building future retirement well. I mean, retiring not only with peace of mind, but with dignity instead of having to worry if you're going to leave your kids and your family with debt and unpaid bills and things like that. Guys, it's truly extraordinary. So take the time, right? Reach out to us, find out more information, schedule some time. Aileen, you covered so much today. I get so excited about the way that you have brought your family into this. I mean, your immediate family, of course, but the family community that we are building and that is extending out there into the world. Because I say it often, but living like a bank is about building a community. It's about building a family. What words of wisdom, advice would you leave with listeners today, Aileen?
Well, I'm going to quote this thing that I see. I don't know who said it, but I thought it was pretty amazing. It says, accumulating wealth is not a consequence of a single action, but rather the outcome of consistent small steps taken over a prolonged period of time.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I love it because people love to wake up and be rich. It is not going to happen. You're not going to get a think that I want to be rich and then the next day you're rich. It's not going to happen. You got to take steps. Are they going to be easy step? No, they're not going to be easy step. They're going to be steps that are going to be hard, but you're not going to quit because you're going to make it work no matter what. You got to try until you make it. You can't quit until you're satisfied. If you look at your life today and you're happy with it, then stay where you are. But if you look at your life and you reflect on your life, where you're sitting, wherever you are listening to this, and you're sitting and you're reflecting on your life at that moment, and you're not happy with it, get up. Get up
Love it.
and go do something about it. First step, if you have any kind of debt, get rid of them because they're going to be the seed to your happiness. Then you can start working and finding stuff like that. And I'm not just saying that because we're advocate of getting out of debt. I'm saying it because it's the reality
Yeah.
of everybody who has any kind of debt. People are not happy. Marriages are getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Relationship getting destroyed. Where there's nothing happen. Communication does not exist because we're all in debt.
Yep.
So get out of it. Whatever it's going to take you, get out of it before so that you can start dreaming again.
I love it. You nailed it, Aileen. Knocked it out of the park. Discipline, consistency, perseverance, guys, each and every day building toward the kind of legacy that you deserve. But you got to know you deserve it first. Aileen, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. All of our listeners, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to follow us. We are available all across podcast directories and YouTube channel and my personal YouTube channel, Caleb Kidd Coy's Family Legacy Heroes. Join us as we build powerful family legacy superheroes. Take care, everybody. Bye, Aileen.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please be sure you subscribe on YouTube or the podcast on anchor.fm and follow me on social media at Metalpreneur. If you're ready to talk about building your own bank, use the QR code or go to rebrand.ly/buildabank. Be sure and join us for the next broadcast, as together we learn to live and operate just like the banks do.